It's day 2. Have you subscribed yet? This is day 2 of Workshop Tricks and Treats here for the month of October in Workshop Wasteland. Today, quick little tutorial on how to make springs. Little tiny springs. Sure looks easy. Sure sounds easy. Actually kind of difficult. First thing you're going to need is some spring wire. Comes in different sizes and quantities. I'd recommend buying these larger boxes off of Amazon. This is a pretty cheap place to get it. They have every size that you need. Comes to your door in a few days and typically free shipping. So let's hop over to the lathe and get started. Oh, did you subscribe yet? If not, you probably should. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, so making springs in the home machine shop. I'm going to show you how to not make something that looks like this, because that's not much of a spring, and make something that looks more like that, which is pretty darn close to like a commercial spring. That one in particular turned out quite well, and it's sort of a trial and error, honestly. These are different size music wire, right? And these are for my intake and exhaust valves on my engine that I'm building. So let me show you how I make springs. Kinda think this setup stems from Quinn over at Blondie Hacks on YouTube. She did something similar, at least. This is kind of my interpretation of that. This is just a piece of angle iron cut off with a tiny hole drilled in it. And then this is a mandrel with a tiny hole drilled in it. And you lock the wire into there. And then I have my threading set up right now to cut like 18 threads per inch, so that should give me 18 twists per inch, or 18 wraps of this spring per inch. Your lathe probably has an arrangement here with a quick change gearbox to set up threading, and this one of course has, you have to swap out these gears, which is easy to do. It's just kind of annoying. So let me get a piece of wire in here and show you the setup for how that works. Alright, so this is the wire fed through the hole, and as you can see I have bent it real hard at a 90-degree angle so that hopefully it will stay in there when we try and wrap this spring. Then what I'm going to do is take a pair of vice grips and lock it onto the wire really tight right here. And this is going to hold the tension when we're trying to make this spring. What I'm going to do is run my lathe backwards so that it feeds onto the top of our part here. And most commercial springs have a bit of a wrap or two together here at the end. So I usually try and mimic that if I can. Something like that. So now we have a couple of wraps together real close, and then since I'm set up to thread, what I can do is engage my half nut on the lathe and start twisting this spring up. Again, these vice grips right here are holding a ton of tension on this wire, and we can run the lathe backwards now and wind up a spring. Then once it's as long as it needs to be, all you have to do is disengage the half nut, and then we wrap together a bunch of wraps here at the end. Now unsnap the vice grips and we can cut this off, and as long as it doesn't go foof whenever you cut it, you probably had enough tension on the spring while you were winding it. This one's not perfect. As you saw earlier, there were some that were definitely better than this one, but that's okay. Music wire is super cheap. It's a little bit of trial and error, but there is a spring. This is 25 thousandths music wire. This one, if we just cut a couple of coils off of it, will actually look pretty darn good. there we go. That is a spring in the hobby machine shop that is quite effective. Turned out quite well. Thanks for watching.